So hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about um, the reactions or the drug interactions between um, antidepressants and the other drugs. So this table here, we have a table this is taken from a website, University of Utah. Is it University of Utah or University of Minnesota? Sorry, University of Minnesota in the US. So this table shows the inhibitors, inducers, and substrates of cytochrome P450 isozymes. Okay, so we have the inducers. For example, let's look at this one, CYP1A2. So we have the substrates. So let's look at the list. For example, we have amitriptyline, which is an antidepressant. We have caffeine, clomipramine, an antidepressant. So amitriptyline is a tricyclic antidepressant. Clomipramine is again another tricyclic antidepressant. We have clozapine, which is an antipsychotic, an atypical antipsychotic. We have cyclobenzaprine, crepafloxacin, it's an antibiotic. Imipramine is an antidepressant, tricyclic antidepressant. Mirtazapine, olanzapine, propranolol, okay, and a list of drugs. So, for example, let's look at the drug Warfarin, okay. So Warfarin is what we call a blood thinner, an anticoagulant. So some patients might be on Warfarin, okay. So let's say this patient is on Warfarin. So let's say a patient is on Warfarin, and then we want to start the patient on an antidepressant, okay, Fluvoxamine. Okay, Fluvoxamine. So Fluvoxamine is an antidepressant, which is from the SSRI category. Okay, it's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, commonly given. So we have Fluvoxamine, which is an antidepressant. So what happens if we give Fluvoxamine to a patient who is on Warfarin? Okay, so Warfarin, see our Warfarin. So it's metabolized by CYP1A2. To its metabolite. So if we have a Fluvoxamine on top, and Fluvoxamine is an inhibitor, okay? So Fluvoxamine inhibits this reaction. So if you inhibit this reaction, this metabolism, what will happen is that you will have warfarin being around for a longer time. Okay, it will increase the available warfarin in your circulation. So what will happen is that you will have a more available warfarin that is circulating in your body. So more potential for adverse effects, unwanted effects, side effects of the drug. So that's what's going to happen if we give inhibitors. Whereas if you give an inducer, okay, for example, omeprazole, okay, omeprazole is given for peptic ulcer and those kind of diseases. It's a proton pump inhibitor. So if you give omeprazole, or if you are a smoker, for example, okay, you smoke. So what's going to happen is that that's going to induce. Okay, you are going to induce the reaction, and therefore what you have is that the drug concentration will go down faster. So you will have less drugs that are in the active form that is available for you to see the effects in the body. Okay, so if you give an inducer, or if you're an inducer, okay, so you will have less effects of the drug. Okay, so the drugs that you are taking, the substrates, okay, will be less effective. So that's what's going to happen with these drugs, okay, if you give them an inhibitor or an inducer. So whenever we talk about the cytochrome P450 isozymes, so okay, we always mention the few common ones, okay. We have CYP1A2, CYP2C9, okay, we have CYP2D6, and then we have CYP3A4, okay. So let's focus on the antidepressants, okay. So let's look at the next antidepressant. For example, in the CYP2C9 category, we have okay, again fluvoxamine. Fluvoxamine is again there, and then we have okay, St. John's Wort is an antidepressant, but it's not so it's not an officially prescribed drug. Okay, so it's taken from the pharmacy or from other places. So it's not like a drug that we prescribe as psychiatrists or doctors. So let's skip that one. Let's look at the next one. Is there anything in this? Okay, again, CYP2C19 is also fluvoxamine there. Okay, and then as inhibitor, you have Warfarin. Oh, sorry, it's not inhibitor. That's a substrate. So another substrate is imipramine, which is a tricyclic antidepressant. Let's look at the CYP2D6. We have fluoxetine. Okay, the brand name, the famous brand name is Prozac. Okay, fluoxetine. What else? Sertraline. Okay, sertraline. So again, for example, if we look at someone who is on, for example, metoprolol. Okay, so metoprolol is an antihypertensive, among others. So if a patient is on metoprolol, okay, metoprolol, and this drug is being acted upon by CYP2D6 to its metabolite. So if you give fluoxetine, which is an antidepressant, if you give fluoxetine, so it's going to inhibit. Okay, so it's an inhibitor. Okay, an inhibitor. So it's an inhibitor. Fluoxetine is an inhibitor. So what happens is that you are going to get less metabolism of metoprolol. Okay, so metoprolol is going to be there for a longer time, so it might cause adverse effects. Okay, so whatever adverse effects that someone is having from metoprolol, okay, will become worsened because of when you give a CYP2D6 inhibitor. So let's look at the CYP3A4. So CYP3A4 has the most number of substrates, okay, as you can see. So let's look at one example of an antidepressant from this group. So which one is the antidepressant? So citalopram, okay, citalopram is an SSRI. And then we have clomipramine, which is a tricyclic antidepressant. Let's look at the next one. Nifedipine is an antihypertensive, okay, calcium channel blocker. Is there an antidepressant? Nipramine, so another tricyclic antidepressant. Is there a... Okay, so we can't find another one. So never mind, let's look at one of these. So for example, if the patient is on alfentanil, for example. So alfentanil is an opioid. So if the patient is on alpha-fentanyl, and then you give the patients, say, fluvoxamine, okay? So you give a fluvoxamine, which is an inhibitor of CYP3A4, then your effects of alpha-fentanyl is going to be prolonged, okay? So for example, the patient who is not having any toxic effects of alpha-fentanyl might develop toxic effects. So he might have sedation, he might get, or the worst case scenario is he gets respiratory depression. So, and so, yeah, he might die because of that, because of respiratory depression. So we have to be aware of these common drug interactions. Some are significant clinically, some are not. So that's why prescribing a drug is not as simple as it used to be, because there are so many drug interactions that we are aware of nowadays compared to what we used to know. Okay, so please study this table and try to understand the basic concepts of inhibitors, inducers, and substrates of the cytochrome P450 system in the liver. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you.